Welcome to the CFO Corner. I'm your host, Nick Ezzo. In the CFO Corner, we sit down with CFOs and corporate finance professionals to hear about the innovative approaches and technology they use to scale and grow their organizations. With me today is Manish Gupta, Chief Financial Officer at HTOO Hospitality. Manish has more than 15 years of experience in hotel management, risk assessment, business planning and strategies, marketing, and customer experience. He has successfully steered hotels through difficult times by taking charge of cash management, using unconventional sales and marketing techniques, and maintaining customer experience and employee morale with limited resources. Manish is passionate about learning and development, thinking in innovative and non-traditional ways, and creating business growth opportunities through win-win partnerships. Welcome, Manish.
Thank you. Thank you, Nick.
So first, can you tell me a little bit about your current role at HTOO Hospitality?
Yeah, so I'm working in this company for last 5 years as a CFO, with recent 2 years as an acting CEO as well, to take care of the business as a overhaul. So we have 15 hotels in Myanmar where I'm taking in charge of all the hotels, their finance, accounting. So we have a very large team, and that's pretty much my job to help the hotels with the cash management and the finance processes.
So, being a CFO, being for more than 15 years and being the CFO at HTOO Hospitality for the last 5+ years, in your opinion, how has the CFO's role changed in the last 5 or 10 years?
I think I have seen it changing in the last 5 years for sure, where I started working as a financial controller in Shangri-La, where I was working before this current company, where the finance role was mostly on collecting the data, verifying the data, and presenting in the financial systems. Then the tools and the SAP and the ERP came, and then we don't have to collect the data anymore, right? We just have to, and they are able to present the data in a way that we can use it. So I have seen changes in the automation, where I remember when we used to prepare the budgets in Excel.
Hmm.
So 7 years back, we had entire budgeting process in Excel. I was by managing about 150 Excel files, and then after, and I have to learn the Excel, the formulas, consolidation, and everything else. And it was a nightmare to manage because you mess when one formula and the entire budget is off, right?
Mhm.
So now, in a recent period, we are seeing a lot of platforms who automate these things. You just give them the past data, and you get your budgets, forecast, and trends analysis in right in a click. So the automation is changing, and I used to work with 40 people in one hotel. Now I manage the hotel with three. So you can imagine how much of automation has helped us not only to control the manpower, but also make our life easier. Now we don't have to spend time on collecting the data. We spend that time in analyzing it and making decisions based on that data.
Well, that's what people want to do in their roles. They don't want to do routine, mundane things like, cutting and pasting and searching for data throughout the organization. They want to be able to analyze and present their findings and help guide and steer the business as a business partner, right?
That's right. And we used to, I mean, because as a finance professional, we are always learning what's happening in the market, right? And we used to train our juniors and say, hey, right, learn the new skills, learn the presentation, learn the analyzing of the data. Don't stick to collection of the data. Otherwise, your job will be over. And that happened in our financial, in our finance, in hotels. We normally used to have 2 to 3 people for doing the income audit job, where their job was just only to collect the data from one software, put it into Excel or another analytical software, and then interfaces came, so strength removed. Then the automated audit software came, then the strength further removed. Now one person can manage the entire process in just a matter of click. You don't have to wait for it anymore.
So given that, where do you see the role of the CFO and even the finance department, accounting department in general? Where do you see that heading in the next 5 years?
I think the next in the next 2 to 3 years or 5 years, the CFO's role will be much more on business partnering, doing the strategy, maintaining the relationship with the other departments, and also within the finance, leading the change, because a lot of data transformation is happening, the business transformation is happening, the things are getting too automated. So CFOs have to be very careful and analytical in analyzing the automation needs, because too much automation may not be a good idea for every organization. They have to manage the culture within the organization, because when you do automation, a lot of processes which used to go before are not relevant anymore, right? So you have to do a change management, you have to do the expectations management. So more of his soft skills. I would say leading the change is going to be the need of our in the coming years.
Well, I'll play devil's advocate for a minute. So if the collection of the data is being done automatically and humans are being taken out of the loop, how concerned are you about errors lurking in your financial data?
Errors, yeah, I mean that's why the errors can happen. There's a very famous saying, garbage in, garbage out, right? So if your data is not correct, and that we are seeing it already. I managed the implementation of ERP in our hotel chains 5 years ago, and before that we were mostly using Excel.
Hmm.
And even though we implemented the ERP, we are still not able to use the reports. And the reason being is because the old habits of putting the data in wrong columns.
Hmm.
Even though we have defined the structure properly, there are input errors. Sometimes people are just lazy. They don't want to do a lot of clicks because Excel is easy, you just put one time and it's no problem. But in ERPs, in software, you have to select this, select that, and then it takes time. So you take a shortcut, data is mess. So I think the errors are definitely there. So I guess now the need of our is probably the softwares are going to be a bit more smarter to identify those errors in the data and prevent it, or maybe alert the users to correct it before it processes. So that I don't have seen that happening in the ERPs yet, but I think it should come with the AI getting more popular and machine learning is getting more popular. I think that will come soon in the softwares.
So, given the fact that you've done a lot of transformation, you implemented your ERP systems, you've got a lot of automation in place, your team's more efficient. It sounds like you've got a lot of things figured out, a lot of things solved. But I'm sure there's at least one thing that you wish you could solve. It's like if you had a magic wand, Manish, and you could wave that magic wand and solve one problem, whether it's hiring or data or systems. What would you wave that magic wand, and what wish would you make?
I think I would make that magic wand to train my peoples on using the systems, because still we are doing the transformation is happening so fast that peoples are not able to cope up with the skills gap. There is a lot of skill gap nowadays, especially dealing with the handling with the data. Uh, we have been using Power BI. We have just implemented Power BI, but because we don't have anybody to manage the Power BI in our team, we have to shut it off. Unfortunately, we don't use it anymore. We are using standard reports. But the thing is, we are not able to use because the skills are not available. So I think if I have a magic wand, I would train all the peoples to be able to cope up with the change faster and faster.
So when you're looking to hire people and build out your teams, to take care of all these hotels, what are the qualities that you're looking for? Whether it's a junior person, just fresh out of accounting school, or a senior person. What are you looking for when you're hiring people?
Apart from the basic accounting degree, I think that's a must for being an accountant job. I mean, it's not a mandatory thing anymore because the softwares take care of all the accounting needs and balancing out. So we don't need basically accountants anymore. We need eye for details, because you still need some manual intervention in processing of the bills, in checking out the things, and adaptable to change, because the things are getting changed so fast. If the mindset is a fixed mindset, it's not a growth mindset, then it's very hard for them to learn new things.
Yeah,
So
so
we look at the skills and the ability to learn, basically.
that's good. I think having somebody who's creative and adaptable. I mean, you don't want necessarily creativity in accounting, but you want creativity in problem solving.
That's
So
right.
there's that. So I'll ask the obvious question then. Given your use of technology and automation, will robots take away accounting jobs?
I think the robots may not take all of the accounting jobs, but they may take the day-to-day mundane jobs which they are already taking. Like, I mean, maybe at the moment we are not using it. The like scanning of the invoices and getting into the system automatically. We don't use it at the moment because we don't require that much of automation. But yes, this is happening already. I'm managing we are helping one of my friend company. He is using Zero,
Mm,
and all the accountant, all the we just send the invoice by email. The Zero understand it, they categorize it correctly. You just have to confirm, right?
yeah.
So I think the which this process used to take at least two people, one to collect the invoice and then somebody to enter it, and then somebody would approve it. Now it doesn't take anybody, just approve it. So, and that can be done by the owner himself or by the finance manager sitting down somewhere as a managerial role itself. So it will take out the junior roles, definitely the data collection, the invoice collection, the processors. It will take out all of them, but it may also create new jobs, right? The robots will create new jobs as well. Apart from the programmers, I think because the robots are still not intelligent enough to understand the trends, the possibility of the usefulness of this expense to the business. They are still not that smart. So people who have those intuition and skills will not be able to replace by AI. But if you are just doing only a data recording and not able to make any insights out of it, then yes, you are replaceable 100%.
Well, cool. That's almost all the time we have. Before we go, are there any thoughts you'd like to leave with our audience? Anything you'd like to share before we sign off?
I think I just would like to suggest the audience that be ready for change. Something really, really interesting is coming on with the open AI concepts. The things are going to change. We are living in a very interesting time. So you don't have to learn AI because there is an open AI. You can type and then get the coding out of that itself. But I think focus on the soft skills which AI may be learning in the future, but you still have another 10 to 15 years to go before the AI will learn how to sing, so you can in accounting you don't need to sing, but you need to have an intuition, able to make the decision and lead the change. So the soft skills are really, really important for finance professionals in the current times.
Well, thanks so much for spending the time with us, Manish. I've learned so much today, as I always do on these interviews. On behalf of the Auditoria team and the CFO Corner team, I'd like to thank you for joining us today and enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you very much for joining.